In tonight's Growing Nashville, we hop on board the WeGo Star. Nashville's only commuter rail line goes from Lebanon to downtown in the morning, of course, then back again after work.
Well, there's a push to expand the passenger train service to reach other suburban areas here in Middle Tennessee. The city is shutting down that idea, saying while it would be convenient, it's just not cost effective.
We arrive at the Mount Juliet train station to a packed parking lot. Safe to assume it's a visual representation of just how many people use the WeGo Star. According to a Metro study 2 years ago, 13% of people that can use the WeGo Star are using it.
Now, that doesn't sound very high, but actually from what we call a transit mode share perspective, the percentage of people making a trip using public transit, that's pretty huge for a city like Nashville.
The WeGo Star runs a few times a day during both the rush hour morning and evening commutes. We got on the 3:41 p.m. train. It was mostly empty, only 3 people on board that we could see.
Come, Jesus, come.
One of them
Been so long.
became a fast friend. Barry Gordon is a Marine Corps veteran
Need a word, we need it from you.
who rides the train to and from work every day. He's headed home to Nashville after working at Rackley Roofing in Lebanon.
I call it the ghost train, because ain't nobody know but me. If somebody get on, somebody get off, but 9 times out of 10, ain't nobody but me, maybe about 4 or 5 people.
26 minutes later, and we're in Nashville. The train running 3 minutes ahead of schedule, and to our surprise, a long line of commuters waiting to board and head home for the day. The 4:20 p.m. trip back to Nashville was packed. Friends catching up after work, some listening to music, others on their laptop. It had the same big city commuter feel often seen in New York, Boston, or Chicago. The trip back from Nashville to Mount Juliet took 30 minutes. Comparatively speaking, our drive from the Mount Juliet train station back to Nashville took well over an hour.
Like if we could get people in and out.
Monica Sartain is an engineering professor at Lipscomb University, and while expanding commuter rail service in Nashville is something she'd like to see, Nashville doesn't quite read like a big city.
New York and Chicago, those train systems or subway systems have existed for a long time. People grew up using them, and here in the South, most people are really used to using a car and a lot less used to using transit options.
On top of that, there are strict federal regulations, which is why the WeGo Star hasn't been able to expand.
We're limited to 12 trips per day on the Star without a huge investment in technology and infrastructure. To go much beyond that, though, would be about $150 to $200 million investment.
By building new rail or expanding it, you would have to buy property. Then you would have to design, do underground explorations before you could actually start constructing new rail systems.
But Tennessee already has a strong railroad blueprint. After all, its network was foundational in the Industrial Revolution and paramount to the growth and expansion of America. According to the Association of American Railroads, there are 574 total rail lines in the U.S. That's equivalent to about 138,524 miles. Here in Tennessee, we have 34 railroad lines, about 2,940 miles. As you can see, these rail lines cover much of Middle Tennessee. Of course, there are federal regulations, safety standards, and shared rail line agreements that would have to be worked out for passenger rail lines to coexist with freight trains and cargo haul. And that is expensive. But local engineers like Monica Sartain say the opportunity is there.
I think if you get enough engineers gathered together, they can come up with a solution for pretty much anything.
It's why Mayor Freddie O'Connell and his administration took a hard turn away from the former mayor Megan Barry's failed attempt to launch a light rail service in Nashville, which bombed at the polls, and instead took a simpler approach, going back to the basics and investing in things we already have: better buses, improved sidewalks, and traffic light upgrades. Was it the right move? Only time will tell.
But when it comes to transportation, the patchwork and problem solving still being debated and fine-tuned, with most transportation experts agreeing there is no one solution. But critics say the city has had decades to figure this problem out. Next week, hear from our transportation leaders in their own words. What is the holdup?